Hello, my amigos. Have you been thinking that maybe your child is on the autism spectrum, but you've been putting off talking to a doctor? Today, we're going to talk about why you shouldn't do that and why you should move forward and go with your gut. Stay tuned. Today, we're just going to talk about, just fears that we have about when we think something might be going on and, why sometimes we're possibly afraid of going to the doctor. So just a story that I had in my life recently, I am severely anemic and I've been anemic for, like 30 years. And 3 or 4 weeks ago, all of a sudden I had huge brown bruises on me. Like they were like this big. They were on my legs and I had one on one leg and then it went away and then I got another on another leg. And I was like, wow, those are weird. And I was in the grocery store and some lady said to me like, oh, those look like leukemia bruises. Like, oh, it's like, she don't know me because I'm wound pretty tight. That's not the kind of stuff you say to me. So of course I'm on WebMD. And so I was like, gosh, I need to go, of course I'm WebMDing it. I'm like, oh my God, I have leukemia. I know it. This is leukemia. They looked kind of like, but they weren't anywhere unexplained. They were just kind of, where you tend to hit stuff. I really put off calling the doctor for like a week because it's just like, gosh, if I have leukemia, like I don't want to know, that's going to turn my life upside down. But then it's like, well, I guess if I have leukemia, I probably should know because I should start treatment as soon as I can. Of course, my husband is like, stay off WebMD. WebMD is not good for you. Like just stay away from it. So I did go and see my doctor and it came out, my anemia numbers were just a little bit lower than they should be. So I just had to just do a regimen of a little bit more iron in my diet, just, a simple, week-long regimen of more B12, more iron, and I give myself injections for it. So, just kind of something that came up in my life. But then last week, I was having my hair cut and the gal cutting my hair was asking me a lot of questions about autism. And so I said, what's up? What's with all the questions about autism? Because I've been seeing her for years and not a lot has come up about autism. Well, she was telling me about her nephew who's 3 and she thinks that maybe he is on the spectrum. And her sister, the little boy's mom, also has maybe thought he might be on the spectrum and has thought this for about 6 months, but won't bring him to the doctor just out of fear. And again, I totally get that. I mean, like I said, I just had that experience in my life. And so, I just made me think, like that really is a scary thing. When my son was diagnosed with autism, it wasn't even a thought like, oh my gosh, this is autism. But now there is so much awareness about autism, parents are looking for it. And I know my grandson is 3.5. And when he was very little, I was like looking for that eye contact. I was scrutinizing him all the time. Just, like, is he talking? Is he doing this? Is he meeting his developmental milestones? Just worried about it. So, but here is a mom. It's her first child, her only child. He's pushing 3. And for 6 months, she has thought that maybe he has some autistic tendencies, but she hasn't talked to the doctor about it because she's afraid, and she's afraid to get that diagnosis. Just like I thought, I don't want to get a leukemia diagnosis. But so I just talked to my hairdresser and just said, I know that there's like a lot of fear in getting that diagnosis, but there's also a lot of peace in it too. So instead of this mom, just worrying all the time, oh my gosh, what's he doing? What's he not doing? Is it this, and WebMDing it and autism, going on to all the websites and looking at all the different things, she should just bring him into her pediatrician and they could do an MChat and really just, talk about her concerns. And like worst case scenario is that the child is diagnosed with autism, but best case scenario is he's diagnosed with autism and now he's starting to get treatment, So I think you have to look at it that way. While of course nobody wants to get that diagnosis, really the sooner you know, the more power you have, the more control you have. You can start getting him in treatment, making sure he sees a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, maybe ABA. You know, really start planning his future, really making use of the time that this 3-year-old has. Because once you lose that time, it's gone. You can never go back. And with autism and a lot of other conditions you can get diagnosed for, the sooner you know, the better. You know, if you catch something sooner, you know, you just have a better chance for a better outcome. So I know it's scary, and I totally appreciate that, but I would say, you know, you owe it to your child and you owe it to yourself just to go and talk to somebody, talk to your pediatrician, just, you know, start talking about it. And they might just say, you know what, it's nothing, it's fine. A lot of kids do this. Let's just, you know, watch them. But don't wait so long that you've lost 9 months of their life or you've lost a year of their life, because that's all that time they could have been in treatment and making progress and, you know, doing things that would help them catch up to their typical peers. So I'd love to hear your story. If you thought that your child had autism and you were the first one, how did you react? Did you go talk to your doctor? You know, did you talk to friends? Did you research it? What was it that made you think your child had autism? And then what did you do about it? I think it would be interesting to know, you know, I bet a lot of parents think that their child has autism and their child doesn't have autism. I'm a former speech therapist, and so many times people would bring their young child into me and say, oh my gosh, she has dyslexia. She says wabbit instead of rabbit. And it's like, yeah, but she's 3. That's totally developmentally appropriate. She'll grow out of it. And so, but people would hear about dyslexia, so they would apply it to their child, and you know, just at a too young of an age type of thing. But, you know, as parents, we just see everything and magnify it and always think the worst. So put yourself at ease, go talk to your doctor, find out. But I'd love to hear your stories about, did you think your child had autism? And if so, what did you do? Were you the first one that thought this, or did somebody else point it out to you? Did you go and talk to your doctor? How did you find out about it? How did it make you feel? Did it kind of put you out of your, you know, pain and suffering when you did get the diagnosis, or you didn't get the diagnosis? Let's just talk about this, and let's talk about it so we can help the younger parents who are going through the struggles that we've been through to maybe learn what we did and what worked for us, and how in the end, you know, we got something that we didn't want, we got a diagnosis that we didn't want, but boy, it's really empowering when you know and you can start saying, we're going to do this, 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 and this, and you take charge of it instead of it taking charge of you and the fear just running you. And don't forget, I'm a parent, I'm telling you from like living this, if your child gets an autism diagnosis, it's not the end of the world. It's painful, it's hard, it's traumatic, but it's not the end of the world. And getting your child treatment as soon as possible is going to change the trajectory, the whole outcome of their life. And that's powerful. And you owe it to you, and you owe it to your child to do that. So thank you so much for joining me today. I enjoyed talking with you. Please support Life with a Side of Autism. Please subscribe and follow the channel. And I'll see you on our next video. Take care, my amigos.